I'm Owen Bigland. This is the Inside Edge video blog. For longtime viewers of my blog, you know that my philosophy has always been just to buy and hold real estate. It's what I've been doing for 30 years. I talk about it in my new book. It's a pretty simple formula, especially for my younger viewers. Buy your principal residence sooner than later if you're planning on staying in Vancouver. If you're not too sure, or it's up in the air and you might want to move back east or to Alberta or whatever over the next few years, then rent until you figure out what you want to do. Once you've got an 8 to 10 year holding period, I would be buying, or at least have a backup plan. If you decide to leave, you can rent it. If the market is down when you want to move, rent it for 3 or 4 years, wait for the market to recover, which it always does, and then sell the unit then. But when I tell people to buy and hold, it doesn't mean just to go out and buy anything. And that's something that people need to recognize, especially in this crazy seller's market we've got. As you know, for a while now, I've been telling people to avoid downtown or the surrounding Vancouver area pre-sales until further notice. I just don't think the prices that they're offering these units up at right now, when you add the GST and the fact that you can't move into them for 3 or 4 years, there are far better deals out there in the tangible market. I can blow these units out of the water and for $100,000 or $150,000 or $200,000 less. So you need to have a realtor who knows what the Vancouver market is at, where it's at, what it should be priced at, what things have been selling for. You're not going to get any bargains. You're not going to steal anything in this market with the clients I'm representing on the buying side these days, that's for sure. But at least we can get you something that's what I feel is a good value based on the current market, which is all-time peak price. And if you hold it for 8 to 10 years, you'll do fantastic on it. But we're definitely not stealing anything. Every now and again, someone will call me up and say, do you have any good deals? Anything that I should be buying, let me know. And I tell them, geez, if I had any steals or any bargains, I'd probably buy them. What I do have is every now and again, I will see something that's priced right. It's a good value and a good strata. We might have to get into a bit of a bidding war with some other parties, but you set your price what we think it's worth and you're going to hang on to it and you'll do fantastic. But don't just buy anything, because every day on the MLS I see stuff listed that I have to shake my head at. Pre-sales are one thing, but even on the tangible market I see stuff that's just ridiculous. And you know, a lot of it is listed at some crazy prices and very few of those will sell. They'll get price reduced down. They're probably tenanted, so they'll test the market until they lose the tenant or until he moves out or she moves out, and then we'll get it back into a price where it should be. But I also see units that sell every week on the MLS that I have to shake my head at. There is nothing, there are no numbers or no comps that can validate some of the prices I see. You know, every now and then I'll see units that have sold, let's say at 600,000, when the last comp, which was a better unit on a higher floor, just sold 6 weeks ago for 530. There's no way that unit went up $70,000 or $65,000 in the last 6 weeks. But it happens when you get into bidding wars and people get aggressive and they throw out offers over ask. Crazy things can happen, and there's nothing wrong with that. As a listing realtor, where I do most of my business is listing and selling homes, I want to get those multiple offers too, and I've had some pretty crazy prices as well. That's what they pay me for. If you were a seller on your unit, you would want the same thing. You would want to see a bidding war on your unit and get the highest price as well. But you can pick and choose what you bid on, and oftentimes if I'm representing a buyer and we're getting into 10 or 15 offers, I tell them maybe just to bow out. There's just too much competition on this. These prices are going to get crazy. But I see some pretty crazy things here, and especially over the last 4 or 5 months. I'll give you an example here, and there's lots of these every week. This is a building in Cole Harbour. I'm not going to mention it, the name of it. It's a 22-year-old building in Cole Harbour. It's okay. It's what I'd call a kind of a grade C building. So decent, but not spectacular. 22 years old. The unit's all original. This unit is on the 2nd floor. It's 589 square feet, priced at $938,000. $938, and I have to. I love the realtor's comments on this. Again, I'm not going to disclose who this is or the building, but in the headline, it's if you love high-rise living on a lower floor, then this unit is for you. High-rise living on a lower floor. So you're on unit 204 here on a building that has about 36 stories. So if you like high-rise living on a lower floor, this is for you. But anyway, $938,000 for a 22-year-old original unit, 580 square feet. That is crazy. Now it's tenanted until May. You know, they're just throwing this thing out there. You never know. They might get an offer on it. Somebody might bite on it. I highly doubt it. They'll probably wait until the tenancy ends in May. It'll be vacant then, clean it up, drop the price 100 grand and see where you go from there. But just to show where prices are here, it is all over the road. I see things selling on the MLS that I look at the price and say that was a good buy. They didn't steal it, but they got it at a good price based on what the current market is at. If it's a good strata, good location, nice unit, clean, buy it, live in it, enjoy it for the next 8 to 10 years or longer, 20 years, and they're going to do fantastic on it, even when they're paying peak price right now. Then there's other units that I see on the MLS selling every week that I just think, my God, they overpaid. There is nothing, I can't find anything comparable that's sold in that building or anywhere that would verify that price, not even close. We're talking 100,000 above where that thing really should have sold. But I can tell you, even with this one at 938, I just had a sale in a building not far from where this one is, except it's not a 22-year-old building, it was a 7-year-old building. Same square footage, far better unit. This unit was 7 years old with very high-end finishings, basically brand new. This is a 22-year-old unit that needs a $50,000 reno. I just sold that unit representing the buyer, not to brag, but for $580,000 for a far superior unit. So there you go. Sold for $580,000, the one that I brought in. This one's priced at $938,000. Now they're not going to get $938,000, but what I want to show you here is the spread here of prices and where things are at. And I do not begrudge this realtor one bit for trying it at $938,000. Why not? I do it too. Maybe not quite to that extent. That is out of range. I think testing the high side on this unit might have been something in the low 8s, about 100 less than this. But hey, why not? Try it. It's tenanted, probably tough to show anyways. We'll get more serious later in the spring and reduce it from there. So I don't begrudge them trying it, but be careful out there. Prices are all over the road. I do see good value and things selling at a fair price. But then I also see things that are just out in left field. Most of them, like this one, will get reduced and they won't get sold. However, I do see ones that are getting sold every now and again that are just crazy priced. Be careful when you're getting into the bidding wars, especially. Set yourself a price, is what I do with my clients, that if you got the unit, you felt good about it. If you don't get the unit, you still feel good about it. You took your best shot at it. But you want to get it, if you're throwing 50 or 60K over asking, you're the successful offer. You should still feel good about it and not questioning yourself, well, gee, I wonder what the second best offer was and how much did I overpay compared to the next best offer. Set a strike price or a price that you'd be happy with and go forward with it. And as long as you're keeping it for 8 to 10 years, you'll be fine anyways. The extra 20 or 25,000 you paid will look like peanuts 20 years from now. But again, just to stress one last time, don't just buy anything. You have to be careful. Prices are all over the road right now. I see good value, and then I see stuff that these people just hideously overpaid for. I'm Owen Bigland. As always, if you haven't joined my YouTube channel, please do. I'll see you next week.